Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It is 8:07. It's our fourth hour here on this 4-hour morning show extravaganza. That means it's all come down to this. Coming up in 30 minutes. I just finished writing my first novel, so I write like the narrator of a novel now. God, and that's when they realized that the war had just begun.
This is going to be a fun year. Oh, dear.
Coming up in 30 minutes, chairman of the which committee? Judiciary. Jim Jordan of the relatively great state of Ohio. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock. And we've got Nick Minock. Did I know Nick Minock was going to be in the show today? Well, that's very good. That's always a nice surprise.
Give him like a book intro. And
let's go. Now, the man who is telling the truth, despite major resistance from all of the evil powers of, I don't know, I can't do it off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's good.
Renee Smith last night is one of the moms of one of those Loudoun boys who has had a Title IX investigation. That's the kind of thing that can devastate a young boy.
It can.
In high school.
Yes.
And it's because, first of all, he was illegally recorded with a cell phone in the locker room, in the boys' locker room, and he expressed concerns that there was a girl in there, a girl who identifies as a boy. Nick Minock has not only interviewed Ms. Smith, Ms. Smith was speaking at the Loudoun County School Board meeting last night. I've mangled this, Nick. I wasn't ready for you. Come on in here, join us. You were at the meeting last night, and it looks like this is the open mic time. This is public forum. This is when parents can express their concerns back to their elected officials. But if you raise this topic, which is the hottest topic in Virginia schools, you're silenced. They shut it down. What happened?
Yeah, so in Renee Smith, what she said during public comment was, Loudoun County parents, if this can happen to her son and 2 other boys, it can happen to your kids too. A girl can go into the boys' locker room, record your boys saying they're uncomfortable with a girl, and it's the boys, the sons, who are investigated by LCPS. And so we heard from her and other parents of the other 2 boys, and we saw a lot of support for the boys. But here's the thing, is when people voice their support for the boys being investigated, guess who threatened to shut down public comment? It was School Board Chair Melinda Mansfield and School Board Member Ann Donahue. They repeatedly interrupted parents, told them to stop clapping, told them they couldn't talk about this topic at all, or they would shut down public comment. And by the way, there were lines out the door. There were so many people there yesterday. Hundreds of people in the room, and even though the room was not at capacity, they weren't letting everybody in who wanted to speak.
Really?
That is unbelievable. So they tried to shut down the mics. They wouldn't let everyone in. They told parents they couldn't applaud. How did this end? I mean, did obviously certain people got up there to speak. What was the commentary from the board members?
Sure. So they did not interact in terms of providing any kind of reaction to what's happening to the boys. They weren't going to reverse their policy that allows biological boys to go into biological girls' locker rooms and bathrooms and vice versa. So they didn't really interact in that way. But you could tell the school board members were very uncomfortable with the parents calling them out on this investigation and policy 8040. You saw the school board chairs eye twitch at times when parents were speaking. They were visibly upset.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what is the status of this issue? I know that the state is looking into it. Attorney General Miyares, the governor, is very concerned about this. But am I correct in your reporting? You've discovered that even if Loudoun County does adopt the governor's protocols, that doesn't necessarily prevent this sort of occurrence?
Right. So I shared this on X yesterday, and we'll be doing stories on this. So I reread the governor's model policies, and it cites the Grimm case, which is the case that LCPS uses to defend their current locker room and bathroom policies. And so we've heard parents call on the school board in the past to adopt those model policies, but LCPS says they're in line with state and federal laws. And so I think a lot of parents are wondering, after 3.5 years of Governor Youngkin being in office, why are these locker room and bathroom policies still in place, not only in Loudoun schools, but Fairfax, Alexandria, Arlington, and Prince William County schools?
Yes.
So I think we're going to see more discussion about that.
Is there any other indication from the Loudoun County School Board that, pending this investigation, do we know what the status of this Title IX investigation is at this point, and whether they're even addressing the fact that there was an illegal recording that took place?
Yes.
Right. So LCPS has not said if that girl has been disciplined. I've heard that some discipline may have taken place, but once you hear what it is, it's not anything serious. But the boys are facing something very serious right now. It's still active. I know some of the parents asked LCPS to investigate the girl for recording the boys, investigate her for Title IX sexual harassment, but LCPS declined to investigate her for recording the boys.
I see.
This is just outrageous. And I assume that when you say that the school board and the school itself is saying that it's in line with state and local law, it's because of this policy 8040, correct? This is the guidelines that went into place in 2021. That's the policy that allows this sort of unisex bathroom situation. Is that right?
Yeah, so they adopted policy 8040 in 2021. The school board did. And it is still in place. And now that we have a new president who has an executive order, who has defined two sexes,
yes,
male and female, right? And so parents want to see something done about this. This school board has kicked the can down the road time and time again on this issue. And I know a lot of parents want to see them take a vote on this. They want to see them reverse it. So we'll see if they do. I don't think they will. I know there's an election coming up in November, so I know some parents are looking forward to that. And I want to touch on that for a little bit, because we did hear from some supporters of Policy 8040 who are the school board's allies. And when we heard them speak at the school board meeting last night, people who support this policy, there's just a handful of them, they were very dismissive of what is going on right now with these boys being investigated by LCPS for sexual harassment. Scott Smith brought this point up. You remember Scott Smith?
Of course.
4 years ago, his daughter was sexually assaulted at the same school, Stonebridge High School. He got up to the podium, told the school board that 4 years ago, the school board's allies testified that he made up the sexual assault of his daughter at Stonebridge High School for political gain for the governor, which he said was absolutely ridiculous. And he says that's happening again now with these boys, the school board and their allies dismissing these boys and their concerns and saying, oh, it's just political.
Nick, really quickly on these allies, when you say allies, are these students? Are these parents? Are these just random activists in the community with no kids in the school? Who are these people?
Sure. So we saw Heather Gottlieb there. She's very involved with the Loudoun County Democratic Committee. She's, someone who typically
has no
will
children.
show up. That's my understanding. She has no children. We saw Equality Loudoun, which talks about these issues. And so, we saw folks like that.
Yeah, so we're talking the LGBTQ and trans activist organizations, not when I just want to make clear, it is not parents of trans kids or some sort of grassroots coming out of Loudoun. It's organized. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm sure what happened is once the school board saw over 100 speakers were signing up to speak, and many of them were opposed to Policy 8040, they may have called their friends like Heather and said, hey, we need you to come tonight.
That's right.
The fact that there were still empty seats and they didn't let people in the room, I wonder if that's a violation of civil rights or civil code as well. That might be something else to look into. Nick Minock, always great reporting. I know they keep you busy at WJLA, and Lord knows the news stories keep you busy too. So we're glad to have you as an ally. Thank you, sir.